Hello everyone. So I hope we are always in a good situation and good conditions. So in this day we are from group 5 will be present the material about classroom management for English young learners. So in this presentation will be bring by my friend Kadek Mela Padma and me Desak Desita Pramesti Cahyani.
So I'm pitching for young learners as that teachers should consider with classroom management for to make good learning process. Teachers' ability to manage classroom will give impact to success teaching process itself. Commonly, teachers find the problems in the classrooms and it influences the activity teacher learning process. Thus, teachers have to responsible to manage and oversee students' learning because chaotic learning process is able to make teachers stress and it can be bad experience in teaching process. Next, according to Kent University in 2009, classroom management as applied to teaching influences everything that a teacher must do carry out his or her teaching objectiveness. Then I move to what is the classroom management and the teacher itself. Classroom management is important part in teaching learning process because it refers to the strategy, methods, and abilities of teacher use for dividing classroom environments, and it can create student success in learning process. Classroom management it relates with the process of organizing and conducting a class that include communications, include time management, students' involvements, student engagements, and classroom communications. It's according to Efferson 2007 state that learning in the chaotic classroom is difficult and perhaps also behind habit. Then the next one, I move to the primary area of classroom management. Classroom management skills consist of the rules and procedures to help run classroom smoothly. It's by the landmark, and it is vital that teachers establish effective classroom management strategies to use in their classroom so that children are keen on learning by Efferson 2007. According to Scribner 2005, a clear descriptions of common classroom management areas, namely the first one, grouping and seating. In this part, forming grouping, arranging and rearranging seating, deciding where you will stand and sit, reforming class as a whole group after activities. And the next one is activities, sequence activities, setting up activities, giving instructions, monitoring activities, timing activities, bringing activities to an end. The next one is about authority, gatherings and holding attentions, deciding who does what, establishing and relinquishing authority as the appropriate, getting someone to do something. And next one is about critical moment, starting the lesson, dealing with unexpected problems, maintaining appropriate discipline, finishing the lessons, and the next one is about tools and technique, using the boards and other classrooms equipments of aids, using gestures to have clarity of instructions and explanation, speaking clearly at in 13 appropriate volume and speed, use of silence, grading complexity of the language, grading quantity of language. And the next one is about working with people, spreading your attention evenly and appropriately, using institutions to gauge what students are willing, like setting honest feedback from students. And that's about the primary areas in classroom management. And about the next part is about sittings and grouping the children. Sitting. Sometimes teacher may not able to change how the desks are arranged in your classroom, and sometimes teacher perhaps to have to make an arrangement with you can change. And in sitting, there are three types. The first one is arrangement A. In arrangement A, teacher can teach the whole class, and teacher can have group work for some of the uh, for some of the time with the class working in a group of four, and it is good students to sit in a group even if they are doing individuals or class work, since it than much of the natural for them to talk to each others. And how about the arrangements B? In arrangements B, works for individuals and whole the class work, and teacher can easily do paid work if half the class done their back to the teachers. And in arrangements B does not encourage natural communications, since students can only see the backs of the heads of the students in front of them, so it is not suitable as arrangement A for language work. And the next one is about arrangement C. In arrangement C, works the same way as the arrangement B, but it is more flexible and leaves teacher with space in the middles of the classroom. Next, about groupings the students, it can be separated into two types of paid works and group works. In paid works, is very useful and effective way of working in language, that it is simple to organize and easy to explain, and group work should not be attentive before the children are used to working in twos first. And the activities that can do in the pair work, like students who are sitting near to each other together, and don't move the desks, and chairs should only be moved it's but absolutely necessary, and establish a routine for pair works. And then pair work means that everyone in the class is occupied. And then next one is about if you don't have even number of students in the class, then let one group work as a tree. If you always put them in the old students, then you will not able to help to each other. And the next one is be on the lookout for the student who simply don't like to teach others. It is unlikely that they would work together. This is more of a problem with 8 to 10-year-olds, if it's with 5 to 7 years old. And the last one is about go throughout what teacher wants students to do before you put them into their pairs. And then about group work, everything which has been about paid work applies to group work. We cannot put children into groups, give them exercise, and assume that it will work. Like introduce group work, and then introduce group work if your students are not used to working in group in other classes, or if they not naturally develop a group identity as they may do if they are sitting permanently in the groups or arrangement. Then you can, as a teacher, introduce them gradually to work. Like the first one is start by having teaching group, and group which you teach separately from the rest of the class. This allows you to give some students more individual attentions, and then you can go into doing self-reliant groups which are given something to do and they own, with the teacher only giving help when needed. And the next one is about start with just one group, then tell them clearly what the purpose is, like I want you to make me a poster and why they are working together. If there are four of you can help each others and start share to work. And the last one is grow to process. Grow through this process with all groups before you let the whole class work in groups at the same time.
For the next material will be present by me. It starts from monitoring students. The monitoring is another classroom management technique. According to Gower, Phillips, and Walters in 2008, say that monitoring is just as important a skill as teaching. And then according to Harmer, teachers should be interested in students' feelings, watch and listen to the students as carefully as possible in order to gain successful classroom management. And then according to Lemlech in 1999, suggests three monitoring functions that affect classroom management. So the first one is checking students' understanding of assignment instruction and of work in progress. And the second one, verifying short and long-term accomplishments. And the third one, checking upon students' behavior. Monitoring students is very important because this is maintains their understanding and progress and also achieve the purpose of providing discipline in a certain circumstances. For the next is about timing. Another important classroom management tool and a crucial skill for teacher is effective time management. According to Lemlech in 1999 points out that a teacher's ability for effective timing appears to be instinctive in some teachers, while the others have to develop it. Most experts agree that teachers should be aware of using time in their classes efficiently since effective timing is one of the essential keys to successful learning. This is very important that teachers need to be able to gain control over the activities they do, organize the classroom well, plan their lesson carefully, and set realistic times for the completion of tasks. And then good pacing minimize the time spent on disruptions and disciplinary situations and also helps keep the classroom running smoothly. Especially in young learners' classrooms, teachers should keep the pace of the lesson fairly upbeat. So when planning the lesson, it is wise to consider using time control activities such as group work, role plays, presentation, and etc. And also, according to Scott and Yetberg, teachers need to remember to keep activities around 5 and 10 minutes long for age 5 until 7 and 10 to 15 minutes long for ages 8 to 10. So this activity need to be smooth enough for students to easily follow. For the next is authority and setting rules. All teachers, especially new ones, need to carry their authority well. Robertson says that teachers who want to establish their authority should behave as if they were already in authority. It is agreed that the best day to start to establish teacher authority is the first day of school when students pay particular attention to their own impressions of the teachers. And then when teachers design classroom rules, they need to consider that the rules must be easy to understand and also manageable. And the students have to know what is or what is not acceptable. And setting correct rules help create a predictable atmosphere that maintains classroom discipline. and then decrease disruptions and encourage children to use self-control. And according to Cohen, Mannion, and Marison in 2005, say that most rules are based on moral, personal, legal, safety, and educational considerations. So the positive terms address multiply situations, be age appropriate. And the next is about holding and improving students' attention. According to Lemlech in 1999, he suggests that there are 7 steps to improve students' attention. So the first one is gain attention of all students and to motivate interest, and then teach, like demonstrate the concept, and then teacher can structure the lesson into short stories, and the next provides follow-up tasks, and the next monitoring on the task behavior, and the last evaluates and provide feedback. So holding and improving students' attention is the sole responsibility of the teacher, and it is a demanding job, particularly in young learners classes since the attention spans are short and the ability to concentrate. Next material that is about praise and motivations. So some teachers often use praise as a form of positive reinforcement for appropriate behavior and as a motivational tool that is according to Lemlech in 1999. So when it comes to praising, many experts agree that this is better since too much praise, particularly unwisely applied praise, such as praising for trivial accomplishments, and then especially in young learners classes, can listen students by self-motivations and suppress a student's natural curiosity. So there are 2 basic types of motivation. So the first one intrinsic and the second one extrinsic. Intrinsic motivations arises from insights of the individual and refers to internal desire to learn, which is typical of young learners. And then extrinsic motivations refers to engagement motivated by external rewards, such as credits. And then some experts argue against the use of verbal praise since they claim that praise may damage intrinsic motivations of students. And the last is this is very important, there are voice and gestures. 2 kinds of message are transmitted to students when the teacher is speaking. Most authors agree that the teacher's voice should be audible and use different qualities of their voices. The ways a teacher uses the tone, pace, and volume of their voice has a great impact on their listener, especially for students. They do not only use their voice, but they also use their hands to clarify and support the words. So gestures are a very beneficial form of nonverbal communication that reinforce the message and helps reduce unnecessary teachers talking time in the classroom and increase students' understanding and also participations during lessons. Teachers should use physical movements such as gesture and mime and facial expressions during their teaching to convey the meaning of language and then reinforce information and increase the pace. So that's all about our presentation. Thank you for watching, and I hope you get the point from this material. Thank you.